to tell you about something I found out about 3 or 4 years ago. It is something so powerful, I think you can use it and greatly benefit from it. I have not sent out a bill in about 3 or 4 years. Instead, I changed my method to get my clients to pay me monthly. I just take the most recent bill and divide it by 12, and I get them to pay that amount on a monthly basis. I figure that if they want me to do their tax return next year, it'll come out to about the same amount of time as this year. If I spend too much time on their tax return next year, I raise the monthly fee. As an example, let's suppose you have a Form 1040 client whose bill this year is $700. If you divide that by 12, it's about $58 per month. It's the most amazing thing. This works on the principle that it is a lot easier for a client to pay $58 than it is to pay $700. For a corporation tax return, you might charge, say, $1,400. Divided by 12, that's $117. And again, if you spend too much time on that return next year, just raise the monthly payment. But it's the same principle. Much easier for a client to pay $117 a month rather than the much larger amount of $1,400 at the end of the year. And these are just examples. It's easy to divide by 12, and you only have to do that one time. I just fell into this discovery because of something else I was doing, and I found it to be amazing. First of all, I don't have to calculate and send out bills, which saves a lot of time. Then, once a month, all this money comes into my bank account. It's almost like magic, and it's such a tiny amount, clients don't even notice it. Another thing I use, and this is a game changer, is ACH check drafts. I could use credit cards, but I prefer check drafts for a few reasons. Not everybody has a credit card, but everybody has a checking account. And with credit cards, there's a fee of between 1.5% and 3%, which isn't much, but it adds up. Plus, credit cards have expiration dates, and you have to contact the client to get the new expiration date. I don't like to have to contact clients to talk about billing and collecting, so I have not had to contact clients about billing questions for 3 or 4 years now because I use check drafts. So if you use check drafts, there is a fee, but there's no expiration date. All you need is a copy of a voided check that has the client's name and a bank routing number and an account number. Sure, sometimes clients close their bank accounts and open a new one at a new bank, but I've found that happens so infrequently that I hardly ever see it. Whenever it happens, I just get a new copy of a voided check, and it only takes a few minutes to put in the new routing number and account number. So how do you even use check drafts? I have a guy locally in town in Austin, and I will happily give you his contact information if you want to try this. You can also do this through QuickBooks or some other online service, but I prefer using my guy because I want you to spend 0 time on billing and collecting. Depending on when you started your firm, a long time ago or only recently, this might be a big change for you. And besides that, you formerly had to work for a CPA firm for 1 or 2 years before you could get your license, and that firm had a method for billing and collecting. And you got so used to computing bills and dealing with collections that it's just become a habit for you. And people hate change, so I recognize that you might not want to jump at this idea, but you ought to. I am living proof that this method is such a time saver that you will be glad you changed. Besides, your clients will love it. So how would you implement this? You are going to connect with all of your clients during tax season this year, most in just the next few months. I recommend that you go ahead and bill them for the current tax return. Then, after they pay it, tell them that you're going to a monthly system. You can say something like, "You paid $1,400 for your corporate return this year. I'm assuming you want me to do your corporate return again next year. Under my new system, I want to charge you $117 per month. So can you give me a copy of a voided check for that?" Of course, not all of your clients will say yes, but depending on how persuasive you are, most of them will say yes. And anybody who says no, you could just ask again next tax season and every year thereafter. In my case, I have close to 100% of my clients on this program, with only 2 holdouts, both of which I hope to solve this tax season. Now, you will be some months into 2023 before you can ask this question, and you'll miss out on part of your $1,400 total, but you can easily afford to write that off because you'll be getting $117 a month from that client for the rest of your life, without ever having to take the time to compute a bill or worry about collections again. And you can increase that $117 per month anytime you want as a matter of standard procedure, as long as it's not a huge increase at any one time. This is just a practice-building note to help you with billing and collecting. If you want to talk about it, feel free to call me. I've been using this method for a long time, so I personally know how well it works. If you try this, I know you're going to love how much easier and how much more lucrative it'll make your life.
If you are a tax preparer with continuing education requirements, I invite you to join our tax practice group. As you know, you have a critical need to stay up to date. We sponsor a monthly continuing tax update session, good for 3 hours of credit in all states, except we skip the month of April because you will be too busy during tax season. Just contact me at adrian@taxpracticegroup.net.